We are in the beautiful mountain city of La Paz, Bolivia. Over the next few days, we'll be diving into everything this incredible place has to offer. We'll be staying at a modern Airbnb, tasting traditional Bolivian dishes, learning about the rich history, and exploring the city's unique landscape. Best scenery we've seen in Bolivia. It is insane. Hi, we're Becky and Brandon. 2 years ago, we started a joke that we'd travel the world for a year, and that joke became reality in June 2024. For the next year, we'll be traveling, exploring, and going on some crazy adventures, and for our first month, we've been traveling through the beautiful country of Bolivia. And now it's time to explore the legislative capital, La Paz. We made it to La Paz and it's time for a room tour. So for our time in La Paz, we got an Airbnb. It was pretty comparable to like a hostel, a private hostel, but we got a little bit more in addition to like what you get for a hostel. So we decided to go with this, and let me show you why. Reason number one, it came with a washer so we can wash our clothes. It has a cute little living room area, and when we came in, the host had like this music going with a fireplace, had a nice little ambiance going, and he also gave us this jug of water. And if you know me and Brandon, we drink a lot of water, so this was like the best present anyone could have ever gotten us. Another reason why we like to get Airbnbs is because it comes with your own kitchen, and we like to cook to cut down on some prices and not eat out every time. So we have a whole stove, microwave, most important, a coffee machine, air fryer, blender. Like, this place has everything. We also love it because we can cook and make coffee and just enjoy our time here. We have a cute bathroom and there's heated water, and you know, sometimes that's hard to come by. And
let me tell you, we've been in South America for almost 10 days, and there's probably 3 times I've took a hot shower. So, yeah. And
then we have our bedroom, which is small and quaint and perfect. It has its desk, it has a bunch of like closets, and since we're gonna be here for a few days, we might unpack a little bit and spread ourselves out.
So we're gonna be in La Paz for a few days, and one of the first things we are going to do is go grocery shopping because dinner ain't gonna make itself. So we're gonna get ready and then head to some stores. Grocery store haul. All of this was 93 Bolivianos, which is about 14 US dollars. And so hopefully this lasts us enough for however many meals. We'll let you know in the future.
And now it's time for Cooking with Becky. Deconstructed egg sandwiches. We're finally going out and exploring La Paz. We're gonna go on a walking tour and a food tour, so let's start exploring.
We went on a dope walking tour with our guide Chris and didn't vlog much because we're shy in groups, so enjoy future Becky and Brandon giving the same tour.
We're in the historical part of La Paz, and the tour started at the San Pedro Plaza because right next to the San Pedro Plaza is the San Pedro Prison, which is one of the largest prisons in La Paz. And it's known for being like a society within itself. So like the inmates will have their family members live with them. They'll have jobs in there. They'll trade in there. They'll buy things in there. And tourists used to be able to go in and do tours, but it became too dangerous, so now we're not allowed in there. But we can look at it from the outside. And we can learn even more about it because it's in the Netflix series, World's Most Dangerous Prisons, and there's been like 2 books written about it too. Another thing that they used to do in the prison is that they would rent out rooms for tourists as like hotel rooms and accommodations. So back in the day, you could like spend a night in the prison and it was fine. It's like normal. Isn't that weird? We made it to the second stop, which is the Mercado Rodríguez, which is one of the biggest markets in La Paz, and it goes from Monday to Monday, open every day of the week. And let me tell you, this place is huge. There's so many vegetables. I've never seen so many onions in one place. But our guide was telling us that the women that work here are called carnicerias, and you have your specific carniceria that you go to, and so every week you'll go to the same person, and then when you get this relationship, they give you yapa, which is like free. When you buy a bunch of bananas, they're gonna throw in like a few free bananas because she's your person. Our goal. We get really nervous in markets because I don't want to I've always gotten nervous in markets because I don't know why. I just get nervous. I feel like I have to buy something if I look at them. So we're gonna maybe buy something, but let's see if I don't get too nervous.
So it's common in most markets to just stumble across different either restaurants, more shops, in this case, a bakery. So we got the Alfo Jorge's, which is 2 shortbreads, and in the middle is dulce de leche. Let's dig in. The shortbreads, it's a little hard, but it's pretty soft, and in the middle is where the ooey gooey, almost caramel is in there, and it's coconut around the outside. This is always a nice snack to get.
Up next we have a empanada con queso, or a cheese empanada. But does it look as good as it tastes? It does. Look how much cheese is in there. It's nice and flaky on the outside, and there's a ton of cheese on the inside. It's not like a super hot empanada, but it is delicious.
So we just finished up at the market where we got some avocado and a mango and our snacks. And now we are at our third stop, which is the famous witches market. They're called witches because they're able to create these offerings in which people will exchange in order to get different blessings. So depending on the item you buy and the offering, will depend if you want better health or travel, etc. But the witches market is most famous for having llama fetuses, which our guide Chris told us that the witches are able to attain them due to natural causes. One special thing about the llamas that we found out is that they are a sacred animal, and because of that, they're typically offered when people are buying houses, and so they will buy one of the llama fetuses, bury it, and then build a house, and it's a way to bless the house of your newfound fortune. But I would be doing Chris a disservice if I didn't at least tell y'all the other offerings that they have. We were told that they offer up homeless people for the larger buildings as well. So they'll find someone on the street, they'll get them boozed up, give them a really good time, and then they'll bury them alive, put the cement down, and then build big skyscrapers depending on the buildings. And so if you look around La Paz, they have a lot of buildings. I'm just kidding. It's just a tall tale, but I'd be doing the tour guide a disservice if I at least did not hopefully scare y'all for a split second. Witches Market also has a lot of souvenirs, and there's probably a little bit of something for everyone, but definitely try checking out during nighttime because they have some really nice umbrellas that are beautifully lit, and it just accentuates the place a little bit more. But now we are going to head to our fourth stop.
The next stop is the San Francisco Basilica, which is right in the city center of La Paz, and there's a ton going on in this square. But this church was built in 1549. It did collapse and they rebuilt it, but it's one of the oldest churches in La Paz. It's really interesting because it combines the indigenous architect with colonial architect, and it's really cool to see. And also our guide said that over 70% of the people in Bolivia are Catholic, so Catholicism is really big in Bolivia. But again, this center square is popping. There's a performance going on over there. There's a performance going on over there. There's markets everywhere. There's vendors everywhere. So it's a really cool spot to come hang out and feel the hype of the city.
So right next to the plaza is Mercado Lanza, which is one of 4 organized markets in La Paz. And this one is recognizable because the government tricked the people, which is why it looks like a parking garage, because that's what they said they were going to build, a parking garage. However, if you look around, there's a bunch of markets, and also there's a bunch of great food here.
And this market's really cool because it's super organized. Every row you walk down, you can tell what it is. This one next to us is all flowers, and then there's one for meat, there's one for food, there's one for pastries, and it's just really cool how it's organized. I'm pretty sure the colors of the garage has to do with it too, but I could just be making stuff up right now. Now we are at Plaza Murillo, which is another central plaza in La Paz, and this is the political center. So there's the presidential palace over here, and then there's the legislative palace. So La Paz is the legislative capital of Bolivia, where Sucre is the constitutional capital. So like all the official business happens here.
Another thing we learned is that there was a president in Bolivia at one point in time who tried to implement capitalism when Bolivia is a socialist country, and the people did not like that. And I can't remember all the details, but I do remember there was a building here that has bullet holes that you can still see today, and that happened during one of the protests. And part of the reason why Bolivia and America has a feud is because that president fled to America, and America is like protected him. Like apparently there's like a big mansion in Maryland. That's also why there's a little bit of feud. But on top of that, Bolivia was like, well, America charges like us visas to go to visit America, so they're going to start doing the same thing to us, which is also why we had to pay a visa to come in here. And our process was not as easy as like some of the people we met from Canada, for an example. And so it's just really cool to see like some of like political tension, which also makes sense because when we were in the Salt Flats, when they had a bunch of flags, they did not have the American flag. And yeah.
Tonight we are going to go on a food tour, which I'm really excited about because I think food tours do a great job of showing you the culture. There's so much that like a country puts into their food. So we're going to go on that and it's going to be awesome. You need that fire emoji. So good. The meat is nice and charred, and the potatoes are delicious, and the peanut sauce, phenomenal. I want like 20 of these.
Y'all, we're starting off with a bang. That was hard. I don't even care. S tier, 10 out of 10.
In Bolivia, they use all the parts of the animal when they process it. So it was beef heart because they use all the parts of the animal, but it was delicious.
Beverage called api. Api is made of corn, and you will see that it has these two different colors, white and purple, because of course we have the purple and the white corn. And it's it has this very Christmassy flavor because there is a lot of cinnamon and clove. You will like it, you know.
It does taste like Christmas. It's almost like a mulled wine, except there's no alcohol in it.
Up next, we had a cheese-filled pastel topped with powdered sugar, and let's just say we weren't ready for this.
Is there cheese in there?
Yeah, there is.
That's cheese.
Yum.
We will have elections actually.
I'm in love. It was like we just said. It's, again, delicious. 3 for 3. Sweet sausage because there's the sweet pepper in it on a delicious bun. So good.
The rest of the food tour was amazing, and I'm not just saying that. We had llama that was like turned into like beef jerky. Well, not beef jerky, but it was like llama jerky is like the same process. And dehydrated corn, which I've never seen before, and it was like squishy. Overall, just like a fun dish. And then he also gave us what they claim to be one of the best Bolivia beers that's like agreed upon. And so it was a Pilsner, which was super awesome to try. And then afterwards, we went to another place where we tried one of the popular Bolivian dishes we've already had before, but this is probably one of the better ones I've had. The biggest thing we learned is that they make their sauce with beer, so naturally it's probably really, really good. And we also had one of the traditional Bolivia drinks, and we had trout from Lake Titicaca. So overall, an amazing tour, highly recommend, and it's a great way to see the city and eat your way around, so definitely gonna check it out. We're calling it a night there, and we have some fun events planned for tomorrow, so we'll see you then.
Today we are exploring La Paz on the cable cars. Yesterday we did a walking tour, and now we are gonna get to see the city from above, which is pretty exciting.
And it's gonna lead to a really cool and historic destination, but more on that later. So some of our first impressions of La Paz is that it's a really cool city. I feel safe a lot of wherever we go. There's a heavy police presence, and the cities, at least where we've been, has been fairly clean. And all the people we've met and chatted with are always just really nice.
They are, and like the city's just so unique. Like the positioning of it being one of the highest capitals in the world, the mountains around it, and then there's just like a bunch of parks that you come across as you're walking through the city. It's just a really friendly, cool city, and I love that there's all these markets everywhere. Everywhere you go, you can find a market, easy peasy.
And we're coming up to our first event of the day, and I'm actually really excited because I've seen these in videos, and it's probably really common to take these if you're from La Paz, but we're not, so I'm like, I will be a proud tourist and say I'm excited to try it.
Me too. And our Airbnb host gave us a pass to go on this, so we don't even have to pay for it. Every Airbnb host that we've had has been so nice, and so let's go try it.
That was really cool.
That was so fun to be gliding above the city and seeing everything below and above and to the sides. But now we have to go catch a lookout before the sun sets.
Oh, sharp glass.
I know, so the birds don't perch on there.
Oh.
It's like how in the US they put the spikes everywhere. This is used glass.
But wow, this view.
It's gorgeous.
So most people probably take a taxi or one of the local like bus vans, but if you're like us, you go 20 minutes uphill, but we're almost there.
So Killi was an important bird to the indigenous people, but when they started to develop the city of La Paz, the bird became extinct and it would make the noise Killi, so it would sound like that. So they named this viewpoint after the bird. And another reason this is an important spot is because this is like the high ground. When the indigenous people were here and the Spanish were starting to settle, they used this spot as like a lookout area to invade and attack them from this viewpoint. So this is like a very important military point too. This viewpoint is a very beautiful.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Bring a snack, bring an empanada, bring a saltinas.
A picnic. Oh, we should have brought a picnic.
I know, we messed up.
We did. But we're gonna go find ourselves a little treat and just enjoy the night. One thing that our guide taught us yesterday was that in different neighborhoods around La Paz, they'll have these hanging dummies from light posts. And these dummies are basically a sign that's like neighborhood watch, and like the whole neighborhood is watching out for anything bad. And it basically is saying to that person, hey, watch out, because if we see you doing something, then we're gonna do something to you. A lot of times you'll see them in markets because they want to keep the markets really safe, because if there's crime or people start to think that the markets aren't safe, then less people are going to be coming to the markets and buying things, so it helps their economy. We didn't find treats, but we got a lot of water.
We just finished crossing one of the busy crosswalks, and one of the things that we picked up the other day is that you'll see people in zebra suits, and they work in tandem with the police department to help people cross the street.
Hola, hola.
Hola.
Hola, hello. Joven, no está pasando rápido. Vámonos.
They were a lot of fun, very lively, and pretty cool. So we just finished in the Coca Museum, and you couldn't really take pictures or record, but wow, we learned a lot about the plant and everything that it's used for.
I like the analogy that they used because a lot of people tie the coca leaf with cocaine, but they explained it like grapes make wine. You can eat a bunch of grapes and not get drunk, and the coca leaves is part of cocaine, but the coca leaf is not cocaine. It was just really interesting to learn about the history and the ties to the people and why they used it, and that at one point they used it as currency. So instead of using like silver and gold, they would use the coca leaves as currency. It was fun to go to that museum and learn about it because I really didn't know too much about it.
No, I didn't really know what to expect going in, and I left with a lot of knowledge. If you do go, prepare to read a lot.
Yes, it is all in Spanish, but they give you an English book. So you just read the English book and you get to look at the pictures too. So we're gonna try and find some food, explore a little bit more tonight.
And then wrap up our last few days in La Paz, which we have some awesome things lined up. So can't wait to share them.
Back again. This is so good.
So we made it to a restaurant called Oliva Cafe. It has 5 stars with 189 reviews. I'm not trying to get my hopes up, but it was a challenge finding this place, but we made it here. And our waiters confirmed that the Hawaii beer is premium, and it was one of his favorites as well. And so that's the same thing our guy said yesterday. So this night is off to a great start. Excited for when the food comes. So I got the steak, but it has chimichurri sauce and mashed potatoes. But these mashed potatoes are like orange. Look at that. So we're gonna try the mashed potatoes first with the chimichurri sauce, which is garlic cloves, olive oils, oregano, parsley, basically all the delicious stuff. So I'm excited for this bite. I was not ready. Like, actually, so good. Wow. Incredible. Like the texture on the potatoes, the butter, and like the way the sauce complements everything. There's a lot of flavors in that one bite. I'm impressed. Look at this. They gave me a butter knife for a steak.
You should only need a butter knife.
Ooh, I can't cut a steak with a butter knife. Ooh, I can't cut a steak with a butter knife.
We got a bite. So naturally, we're gonna put in the chimichurri sauce. If I'm saying this correctly. Oh, look at that bite. You see it dripping? I need that sauce on everything I eat from now on. The steak's really good, but honestly, the sauce is shining in this whole plate.
I got the sahuta, I'm not saying that right, which is a traditional Bolivian dish with boiled chicken and a yellow chili sauce on it. Let's try the main part, the chicken. It's so juicy and tender and delicious. And the sauce on top, definitely 5 stars.
So we have a goal is to find the perfect bite in every country of tiramisu we go to.
Every country, we gotta get tiramisu. Is this one gonna be the best one?
You gotta get to the bottom. Oh, it's wet at the bottom. That's how you know. Look at that. Cheers.
My work is finished here.
Oliva Cafe definitely hit a 5 out of 5 for us.
It was so good. And I know what y'all are thinking. Y'all just keep spending your money on food. But all of that was $23 for everything. So not a bad deal. And we have been eating in a lot this week.
I can't tell y'all, from the first day we bought all those eggs, how many egg sandwiches and tacos I've had throughout the week. So we definitely enjoyed tonight.
We have something very exciting going on tomorrow. So we're gonna call it a night and we're gonna share what we're doing tomorrow in our next video. So follow along if you wanna see where the adventure takes us. Today we are going outside the city to a spot called Valle De Las Animas, which means Valley of the Souls. We have a few hours to hike and explore, and I'm excited to see what this is all about because we haven't been like outside the city by ourselves. So now we're outside by ourselves hiking and it already looks beautiful.
But wow, look at these views. It's so interesting how unique each landscape that we've been to on this trip looks. It just feels like a completely different area. And this is only 30 minutes outside of the city, and I'm already excited.
Honestly, this has to be some of like the best scenery we've seen in Bolivia. It is insane.
Hands down, just how the rocks are jagged, rigid, and there's so many layers based on like how long they continue for. It honestly feels like a movie scene, like not even being dramatic. It's crazy.
It does. Every time you like look around, like, you look one spot and you're like, whoa. And you're looking like, whoa. And then you're like, oh my gosh. It's just everywhere you look is ridiculous. It's like, this can't be real, but it is.
So on this hike, I thought we were just gonna continue straight all the way down there. But Becky was like, no, we turn and we go up there. And let me tell you, I'm already out of breath. And this is just like a slowly gradual incline. And we're about to go from like this to like this. Wish us luck.
Let's go. So this valley also has a lot of spirituality with it, and the indigenous people believe that this is where the babies who died before baptized went, and they were in limbo with earth. And then there was another myth and tale that these spires represented souls trying to reach heaven. And early visitors thought that these spires represented petrified souls, which is where it got its name, the Valley of Souls.
So we just finished our loop trail because we have to go pick up our bags from our Airbnb and get to the bus. But wow, today was amazing. I am so happy that we chose this hike over the other two events because it just left me speechless. Easily one of the best views we've seen in Bolivia so far. And I'm sad that we couldn't spend the full 3 to 4 hours here. But unfortunately, this brings our time in La Paz to an end. We are about to catch a bus now to our next destination, which I don't want to spoil. So you have to follow along. Thank you all for watching, and we hope you enjoyed La Paz as much as we did.